All right, we are live. What's up, everybody? My name is Juwan Rohan. I'm here with Sam Dolcine. This is the Misguided Podcast, where we intend to guide you to a better future. Sam Dolcine is a real estate investor, and he is the host of the Black Real Estate Dialogue.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, man. I'm very excited. I've been looking forward to this interview, and I appreciate the opportunity. And hopefully, I could share some things that are valuable.
Yes. I appreciate you coming up here, man. And I respect what you're doing. I found out about you through the Bigger Pockets. I think I was going. I was like looking at their stuff and like who they follow. Like, damn, whoever they follow got to be important, right? So I actually found you through them, and that's like one of my favorite podcasts. And I was like, let me give your podcast a shot. And dude, been listening ever since. It's been about maybe 2 months now or so. So.
Wow.
I
I
appreciate
appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate the knowledge you be dropping, giving the Black community. We need that. They don't teach this shit in school, which they should. But
It's true.
facts, man, facts. Yeah, so let's go ahead and learn a little bit about you. So where are you originally from?
Yeah. So I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. Born and raised.
Hey,
Went to college out in Western New York, near Buffalo, New York, and I've been living in LA for a little over 4 years. But
okay.
yeah, Brooklyn in the house.
Yeah. My whole dad's side is from New York. So I got family
Nice.
from Brooklyn, the Bronx, for sure, the Bronx. Man,
Nice.
all boroughs, but
Yeah.
I love NY. A little too fast paced for me. I love Cali, a little slower vibe, but yeah, LA's cool. The move you made, what was the reason for the move?
Yeah, so my background, like my career background, primarily is in recruiting. So I recruited for a couple charter schools, well, for a charter school in New York for
Okay.
about 2.5 years, and then I received an opportunity to recruit and help hire teachers for a charter school in LA. And so at the time, I'm like, I've been in New York my whole life. If I
Mm-hmm.
don't leave, I'll probably just stay here forever, which was not a problem for me at that time. I mean, I would have been cool with that. But I'm like, you know what? I was 25 at the time. And I'm like, what's the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen is that I don't like it. And,
You
my
move back.
family would be more overjoyed for me to come back. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
um, at the time, that's kind of what I did. I knew a couple people from college who, for different reasons, ended up out here. Some who are not even here anymore. Um, and yeah, man, that was really the reason. It's the craziest thing I've done in my life. But a lot of people didn't think I would still be here. Like I have a cousin who she's like, if I bet money that you would have still been there, I wouldn't have guessed it. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's what brought me out here. So worked with a couple companies now. Transitioning to a new company actually in a couple weeks. But yeah, that's what brought me out to LA, and I'm still here and I'm loving it.
That's dope, man. That's dope. So you like LA more than New York now?
New York is always home. I'm
Yeah.
always biased. Like New York is, even if I never move back, in my eyes, like New York is the greatest city in the world. Brooklyn's the greatest city in the world. But I don't think I'll. That's a hard question. Like I like them for different reasons, but I don't think. Well, I guess home is home, right? So
Yeah.
I guess I'd say I like New York better, but there's a lot to like about LA as well.
Yeah. No. The reason I asked that is because before we started the podcast, we talked about how you came out to Oakland and you also like the Bay Area,
Yeah,
but you didn't want to leave LA. So I found that interesting. Like I love LA. I'm
yeah.
from the Bay Area. If I had the chance, I would get the hell out of here. Just because I've been here all my life. Like I love
Yeah.
LA. And I'm a West Coast boy, so I don't really see myself moving to the East Coast. And LA's the spot to be, man. It's like you literally
Yeah.
there's so many connections and networks you can just
Hmm.
dive into by just going to get some coffee, like
Yep.
it's
It's true.
or some
It's true.
donuts. Like I've met some
Yep.
crazy music producers in a donut line in LA, like so
Wow.
yeah, some it's just so weird. Like I love that like how the opportunity is so easy out there.
Definitely, man.
Facts. But yeah, so you're a real estate investor and you're the host of the Black Real Estate Dialogue. Let's get into that. How did you get started into both?
Yeah. So I guess I'll start with real estate. So real estate is something it's always been like kind of like a buzzword, right? Like, you invest in real estate, people buy houses and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I've always been interested in buying a property. The thing is, I just thought I always thought you need a lot of money. And so in LA, I'm like, all right, if a house is like 600,000, I got to bring in 20%. At that time, I didn't know about the different down payment assistance programs and
Yep.
FHA, DECA, all those things. So I immediately thought I was priced out of the market. And so I'm like, one day I was just kind of just looking through over my finances, and there's these calculators that you have like for your retirement or whatever.
Hmm.
So I went to this particular calculator on whatever the retirement plan is for my job, and they let you project out, assuming you'll make steady increases, how much you
Yeah.
have at
Okay.
retirement age, if you want to withdraw X amount, how long that'll last. And what I realized is like, man, this is not going to last long. Like whatever I would accumulate according to this. So I'm like, I got
Hmm.
to find another way to make some money or to build some wealth for when I'm old. And so I'm like, all right, I need to figure out a way to get into real estate. And so from there, just started reading different books, and read Rich Dad Poor Dad, which kind of changed how I viewed money. Like I knew I wanted to invest out of state based on what I knew at that time. But for me, it's like, well, the money, the money, the money. But Rich Dad Poor Dad helped me to think outside the box and be more creative with how I came up with the money.
Hmm.
And so for me, primarily it was just like I got to find other ways to build while I'm young. So when I'm old, I'm not just dependent upon Social
Yeah.
Security. I'm not just dependent upon, my 9 to 5 401k. It just may not be enough for the lifestyle that I want to live when I'm that age.
Yeah.
So that was primarily like the main reason that I was like, I got to get some property.
Yeah, no, I feel it. You don't want to be like when you're still on Social Security, you're still just getting a check. Like it's almost like a
Yeah,
9 to 5. That's not really wealth, That's just
yeah,
like kind of money you've saved up. That's just your savings that had a little increase in percentage over the years. But
mm,
you want that wealth, and with real estate, when you buy land, that's wealth. Or when you have a company, something you can sell or keep going and drop off to your kids, that's wealth. And I
yeah,
respect that. So definitely. What so you started investing, and then let's go ahead and just dive into your first property then. How'd that
yeah,
come
yeah.
about?
Yeah, man. So it's crazy. Like I spent about a year. I'm like, all right, real estate, it's like this thing. I don't know where to start. So, I was like talking to different people. I was on Bigger Pockets heavy, man. I was on Bigger Pockets looking in the forums, talking to people.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, all right, I need to figure out this out of state thing. And, I just started looking at different forums from different markets, different people who invested out of state, started like DMing people on Bigger Pockets, starting to listen to podcasts, the Bigger Pockets podcast, Black Wealth Renaissance, the Oaksby and Scott show, like a whole like just Black wealth stuff and real estate stuff. I'm like, all right, I need to just absorb information until something clicks. Cause I know I want to
Mm.
do this. I don't know how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And at the same time where I was learning and trying to figure out how to get this thing done, I did a couple of things. The first thing I did was I put my student loans into forbearance, which means that they're paused for 12 months.
Hmm.
And so the money, and I was paying a lot of money, man, to my student loan. So I'm like, I'll just save that money, put it in this account over here as I'm figuring it out, just so when I'm ready, I
There
have
you
at
go.
least a little
Yeah.
bit of money. And
Yeah.
I thought, I'm like, it might take a little bit longer. I think I had like a 2 year timeline.
Okay.
And once I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I'm like, all right, I need to figure out how to tap into some more money. So I called my retirement plan. I said, hey, what are the options for me to use some of this money for something? And so they said, you have a couple options. The first option is that you can borrow up to half of this amount and pay yourself back with interest over a 5 year period, or you can withdraw X amount, pay the taxes on it. I'm like, I'm not paying taxes. And
Yeah.
I looked at
Not.
the numbers and
It's
I'm
like
like, all
double
right,
taxes too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I looked at the numbers and I'm like, all right, I can I can afford this payment. So this money paired with the money that I from saving from the forbearance will give me enough. And so from there, just reaching out to people, and I listened to this podcast. I think it's called Simple Real Estate, so something like that. I listened
Okay.
to this podcast, and they had investment advisors, people who can kind of connect you to different markets if you want to buy property out of state.
Oh
And
shit.
so I
That's dope.
emailed them. I said, "Hey, I'm interested. This is my timeline. Like I'm trying to buy this summer. And this was in 2019. It's like, I'm trying to buy this summer. Then I had a phone call, just told them like my plan, how much money I was looking to spend.
Yep.
And they introduced me via email to people in St. Louis and then to people in Dayton, Ohio. And at that time I was looking at different markets in the South and the Midwest. And the people from Dayton replied. The people from St. Louis didn't reply. And so I had a call with the folks from Dayton. They said, hey, come down. We'll take you on a market tour. We'll look at some properties. I said, cool. So went out there last July, looked at some properties, and it's a company that they rehab properties and sell them to investors. They basically flip properties to investors.
Oh, so like a turnkey almost.
Turnkey. And for me, I'm like, all right, man, I'm not trying to do any rehab. And I know turnkey, you buy at market rate. But I'm like, if I don't do it this way, I will never buy anything. And so long story short, went to see some properties. And I'm actually here right now in Dayton checking on my property. But I went to see some properties. And I had a good feeling about the city. All the research I did, they had all the indicators that I was looking for a city that's heading in the right direction. And in September, something came on the market. One of their properties was ready. Went through the inspection, all the the loan process and all that stuff. Closed in October, and been investing here ever since.
That's crazy, man. Shit. Yeah. So the where you're at right now, because you're in Dayton, that was the first property.
This is the first property, yeah.
Hey, you about to go see your little baby? That's like your little baby. Oh, man.
I've never actually been inside, so I'm excited to get inside, do a walkthrough. Yeah. It's gonna be kind of a surreal feeling just to be.
Facts.
It feels kind of weird already, like because when I was here, right, I was just like some new. I still consider myself fairly new, but it's like I didn't have anything to my name, and
now you own something right there. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Like, I don't know how I'm going to feel when I actually go and see it. It's going to be like, wow, like, this is mine. That's crazy.
Like, you probably going to be like, oh, is there a tenant in there right now?
Yeah, the same tenant who's been there since I got it. Hopefully they stay.
That's cool. They pay every month on time and no problem.
They haven't missed a payment. I have a property manager who kind of works with them. There was some concern around whether or not they would stay, but it seems like they're staying so far. But yeah, they haven't, even through COVID, man, they haven't missed a payment. So I'm very blessed. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thankfully, they're still working or doing okay. So, I mean, it's been mostly smooth sailing on the tenant side. There's been some things that have come up otherwise, but yeah, man, I haven't missed a payment.
That's super dope, man. Especially within the last 6 months has been crazy, or the last year, bro. But to be honest, but that's super dope, man. I'm happy for you. It's surreal that I'm interviewing you right before you about to go walk into your house. That's super dope.
It's crazy, right?
That's crazy, man. I can see like the happiness on your face. It
feels good, man. It feels very good.
I bet. I do want to ask, do you mind if we get into kind of some numbers for the listeners?
Yeah, of course.
So like, let's, you talked about the 20% for investors. That's for investors. Obviously you didn't live in Ohio, which you probably could have got like 3%, 3.5, 5%, stuff like that. Let's go ahead and talk the numbers. So what was your down payment for this house? Kind of what it's renting for at the moment, your ROI, stuff like that.
Yeah, so the house was $90,000.
God, that's so cheap.
I put down, and that's actually on the higher end, believe it or not. Like, there's properties out here for like, man, there's properties out here for like 40K, man, 50K. But
no, I meant cheap compared to where the hell I live and you live.
Oh yeah, but yeah, so I put down 20% on that. Put down 20%. Is renting for $950 right now.
Okay.
It's like $450, and so it's cash flowing roughly like $350 a month.
The mortgage is $450. That's like what my car is worth, like a month. That's ridiculous. God damn.
So it's like whatever the tenant. If something bad happened, like the worst case scenario, I could pay $450.
Yeah. Like you just go get a side job, like work at Safeway if you needed to. DoorDash will get $450.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, that's a really good deal, man. Really good score. Or did they help you find that the place you linked up with, they helped you
Mm-hmm.
found that place? Oh, that's really
Yep.
cool. But you got to let me know, because I've been looking at Turnkey as well, because my first one, I don't know if I want to go into full rehab like you were mentioning, and I definitely don't want to do a flip. So I've been looking at Turnkey. I was looking at rent to retirement. They're like very talked about on the bigger pockets. I looked at like all the forums, and there's not one bad review. So this ain't no sponsor, but shout out to Rent to Retirement. I talked to the owner a couple of months ago, right before I lost my job, actually. And I was gonna buy a house, dude. And then I had just got engaged, so I was like, let me figure out this wedding stuff first, and save what I need to save for this, and then I'm gonna come back to you.
Yeah.
But Turnkey, I hear a lot of ups and downs with turnkeys. One of the
You want me to
ups
talk
is,
to them?
yeah, that would be great. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So it's interesting, right? So in life, right, you make decisions based on what you know at that time.
Facts.
And so at that time, like I figured based on what I read, all right, turnkey is like the best way to go. And what I realized, so buying that property opened up a lot of doors for me, like network wise. Like I met different investors who invest in Dayton, like either through my podcast, through Bigger Pockets, or through Instagram. And you just talk back and forth, like, hey, how much was your property? How much was yours? How much work you had to put in? So I was meeting people who bought properties for like 40, 50,000.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, wow, you must have needed to do a full rehab. Oh, no, I just painted and put carpet. Oh, no, this was pretty much ready. And I'm like, really? You can get effectively a turnkey property for that cheap. And so what I realized was that I didn't know that was a thing, because right, you just go off of what you know at that time. And so I'll talk to you like the upsides and the downsides of turnkey. So the upside is that the property's renovated, doesn't need any work.
Sometimes already has a client in there or a tenant.
Yeah, sometimes already has a tenant in there, or they have property management in house. I guess there's less risk because things are kind of in place, and usually the turnkey company has everything in house, and they all that stuff. The downside is that as an investor, a lot of times you want to buy property below its market value. So with a turnkey, the way it works is they buy the distressed property, they put all the work, they take in all the risk.
Yeah.
So they get to participate in the upside, in the forced appreciation. So they're selling to you at a profit. So they're doing you a service because you have something in your hand that's ready, but they're also making whatever they're making. It's a business, right? Yeah. And secondly, I would say another potential downside is, I think I'd say the price is the biggest thing, because you could find a property that doesn't need work through a real estate agent, which I have, just even looking more out here, the deals haven't always worked out, but you can find a property that needs little if any work. True. For a more affordable price.
But the turnkey companies, they help you kind of walk through the whole process. You know what I mean? And they help you with after. I don't know if the turnkey property with you, if they are your property manager. Some turnkey companies offer that and take a chunk. So I don't know. Is that the case with you?
They do. They manage my property. I mean, it's been okay. It hasn't been perfect. I went with them because I didn't have to pay what's called a lease up fee. And essentially what that is let's say I hire my own property management company, I would have to pay them like a portion of the rent as a fee for finding a tenant. Whereas with these folks, it was free. So I'm like, all right, if it's free, I'll try them out for a year. And I honestly, in the last month or two, I kind of considered getting rid of them, but I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I don't feel like re-interviewing another property management company. Yeah. But I mean, you can't, either way, like it's really up to like what somebody's comfortable with. So I don't think it's a bad thing if somebody goes with a turnkey company, but if you don't, it's just a matter of learning like how to interview property managers, how to manage all that stuff. Because it's doable. It's doable. You definitely could find a good property from like an agent. Yeah. Yeah, I would say that, and for a lower price in many cases.
Yeah, nah, bro. I mean, walking through the numbers with you still got a really good deal, man. Really good deal. Oh yeah. So like, fuck, dude, that's dope. How many properties do you have under your belt?
I have one right now.
Just the one? Okay. You working on another one?
Yeah, so I have a business partner. We've gone through like we gotten close on a couple of deals, which I can talk through if you would like. We had a couple of deals that didn't work out. I'm actually looking in LA. I'm looking to house hack and get
Okay.
a multi-unit using the FHA loan. So I actually saw a couple properties a few weeks ago. So I'm looking to do that. I'm looking to
Hmm.
do that next.
Oh,
So
that dude,
hopefully, in
score
a couple
that,
months. Yeah,
score that, man. I know I'm trying to find partners right now and work with people who want to do the same thing in California, because I definitely want to buy in California and I want to be able to
yeah,
check up on it regularly.
yeah.
And I know the areas of California very well, so I'm actually trying to look for people who actually want to do the same thing you're doing. So that's super dope, man. For real,
Definitely, man.
for real. Cool. Hey, did you hear about the 19 black families that bought land in Georgia
I did, man. I
recently?
actually DM'd them. I
Oh
actually need to
shit.
get back.
Yeah.
I want to get a podcast, but did you hear the interview on Earn Your Leisure?
Yeah, that's I just heard it yesterday. That's why
Yeah,
yeah, it was really good.
crazy.
Holy
It was
shit.
very good.
It was really good. And like uh man, yeah, that was my first time actually listening to Earn Your Leisure.
They're good,
My
man.
homie who lives in LA, he's about to be a real estate agent as well. But he put me on it and he's like, I've been binging every episode. So now I'm probably about to start doing that because that shit is good. But
It is,
dude,
man.
that's crazy. 19 black families in Georgia by 100 acres. And how do you just imagine all those people getting together, like sitting down and like, we're going to change history right now. Like, the process to buy, they just bought flat land, like
Hmm.
nothing on them. They have to deal with, the soil. I didn't know you have to check to see if like the soil is a certain type of soil that you can't touch or that you
Me
can
neither.
build on like that. Yeah, right. You gotta check with the water, the plumbing. That's crazy, man. Like, yeah, that's super dope. And they have like opportunities for you to get involved. So for everyone listening to the podcast, you should definitely Google them. They have a website. There's ways you can like invest. And they've been doing like not festivals, but they did like a camp out to earn money. They do like some nighttime shows. So they pretty much do events on the land so that they can start generating money to build a town, which I think is super cool. And yeah, man. So
It's
I'm
amazing, man.
glad you heard about that, dude. I like that's the type of stuff that I want to do. Like I want to get together like a lot of black homies, even if I don't know them, and just like start building something for the black community later down the road. You know what I mean?
100%. Man.
Yeah,
That's what it's all about. That's
for
what it's
real,
all
for real.
about, man.
Definitely, definitely. Shit. Okay, cool, cool. I low key want to switch it up and talk about the year because it's been kind of crazy. I do like to bring in current events and stuff. Um, and as black men, it's been even more crazy for us. So I kind of definitely want to talk about that. So let's go ahead and start it off. Let's start off with how your business has been through 2020 first, and then we'll go ahead and talk about how you've been personally.
So business has been the best it's ever been, to be honest with you.
There you go. That's
Like the like quarantine and COVID, all that, it has exploded my business.
Hey, there you
The
go.
podcast listenership, the digital products, like everything has just gone through the roof. And so, I think a lot of that is just people are either looking for other ways to do things, other ways to make money, other ways to, you know, other creative outlets, um, empowering information. People are more home. There's like not as much to do, especially during the beginning. So business wise, like it's been the best it's ever been for me. Yeah, I can't complain at all.
Yeah,
Business wise, like it's been great.
that's dope. Speaking of business wise, before we get to how you're doing, personally, how did you start the podcast? We never even got to that. How did you start the podcast, and when did it start for you?
Yes, good question. So it's interesting. I really got into podcasts in 2019, probably like the spring.
Okay.
Um, I literally was just typing like Black Wealth on the
Hey.
podcast app, and I discovered the Black Wealth Renaissance. That was like the first podcast I really got into.
Yep.
And then from there, I started listening to different podcasts about Black wealth, Oglesby and Scott show, different things like that. And I didn't realize there was like a group of Black people doing all these amazing things, within business and entrepreneurship and real estate and stuff. And I was trying to find something specifically about Black real estate investors because I'm like, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I was searching, and perhaps maybe something does exist, but I just couldn't find it.
Okay.
So one of my boys, Josh, who's actually co-founder of Mint, who
Yeah, I interviewed him.
yeah,
he's
yeah,
he's the homie.
he, I was just sitting with him, chilling with him last summer. I'm like, yo, what if I started a podcast about Black real estate investors? I'm like, I
Yeah.
haven't really found anything like that. It was not a long conversation. He said, do it. That's literally all he said. So he made the logo. We started going back and forth on the logo. Um, and it started, I set a date. Like I'm the kind of person, like I need to set a date. I'm going to do something or it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I set a date for October 15th, and it was symbolic because it was on Columbus Day.
Okay.
And it was symbolic because he stole land, like he was really bad to people. So I'm like, all right, I can use that day for something good.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
Ironically, it happened like the same week that I closed on my property. So for me, it's like, all right, I want to highlight the stories of Black investors, but also my story as well as I grow and develop because I'm newer.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it was a way for me to share my story, document my journey, and also talk about successful Black real estate investors. And a lot of times we get caught up in complaining about how things are. And I was one of those people, but I was like, I had to change my mindset. I'm like, all right, instead of just complaining like everybody else, what can I do to change things? What can I do to help my community? And for me, it's the podcast, just putting out information out there that is not typically readily available to us. And a lot of times in life, what you believe is possible is based on what you've seen.
Yeah.
So if you listen to, and week after week, Black investors, you're going to think it's possible all over the country. So that's how I started it. So we've been going for a little over a year now, over 50 episodes. I want to say this coming week, maybe it's 53. But yeah, it's just, it's had its ups and downs, but we've been rolling.
Nah, yeah, man, you're doing really well, man, and I'm glad I found you guys. That's so. How'd you meet up with Josh? Like, how'd you two become
Yeah,
friends?
it's
That's
funny,
cool.
man. So I was trying to go to business school a couple of years ago. And so I met him at like an event.
Yeah.
Um, like I was at a USC, I think diversity weekend or something. And we had gone to a spot after just hang out, like those of us who had met.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, like, I guess his friends were there too. Like he was just at that place. And I think there was mutual friends between whoever I was with. And that's how we met. We met at that spot and we've been kicking it ever since. So that's like
That's
3 years
crazy.
ago. Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. Oh man,
Yeah.
I need to come. I need to come down to LA and kick it with y'all, man. I love
Yeah.
LA.
I actually saw him yesterday.
Oh really?
I saw him on, not yesterday. I saw him on Friday, right before I came to Ohio.
Oh shit, that's dope, man. Yeah, that's dope. Super cool, man. Well, yeah, thank you for sharing your story. And I mean, that's kind of like how we started the podcast. Like me and my business partner, he's not here today, but that's kind of how we started. We're just like, we want to kind of share our success as entrepreneurs and share our failures because that's super important. And kind of and see the growth and interview other people and kind of learn and kind of just teach the stuff they really don't teach in school. And kind of go over topics that the radio kind of censors, so I think that's super important that you're doing this. And
Definitely,
I can't,
man.
yeah, man, dude, your podcast, hopefully you're the top Black real estate podcast, man, out there. Yeah, you're the number one. Yeah. That's super dope. But let's go ahead and talk about how have you been personally throughout 2020? How, Black people don't really like to talk about mental health. So how has your mental health been throughout this crazy ass year? We've experienced so many ups and downs, and most of it has been down. So how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. It's been ups and downs, like you said. I feel like everybody's personally been impacted by everything going on in the world to some degree.
Yeah.
You know, so it's been tough, but I've been encouraged just to keep pushing, man. It hasn't been an easy year for anybody, but I just do my best to just focus on the good that's been happening this year. It's just an interesting year because it's a lot of bad things, but a lot of good
A lot
things,
of
right?
good things. Yeah. Same.
Yeah. So I just been trying to focus on the good side, man.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. What what moments in this year kind of has stuck out to you most as far as the Black Lives Matter movement? Like what really was like, wow, what was like the changing moment for you this year? I mean, obviously it's been multiple years. This shit happens every year, but this year felt different. It felt like a lot more people hopped on board, you know?
Yeah,
So yeah, what moment kind of was like that whoa for you this year?
man, that's a good question. That's a good question. I mean, I guess collectively, it feels like a lot more Black people are trying to do what they can to help change things, whatever that means to an individual. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that has been kind of like what I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
People are more aware and really trying to strive for economic empowerment,
Yeah.
and doing what they can to make the best of the situation that we're all in, um, and also like doing what they can to change too. So it feels like more people are on the front lines and trying to make a difference, however, whatever that means to them. So, if that's with their immediate family, if that's with their friend group,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are just trying to do what they can do to help and do something.
No, no, I feel it. That's a great answer. I can see that as well. I see a lot more Black people kind of wanting to educate themselves about Black history, about business, about banks and loans and credit scores. Like I see a lot of people wanting to educate themselves and listen to more podcasts.
Yep.
That's a way of education. So um, yeah, I've seen a lot more white allies kind of just help out lately, which is super cool. Um, but I just like checking up, on people
Appreciate that,
and
man.
asking that question. A lot of people, just kind of want to skip over this year and get to 2020 because they think 2020 is going to be so great. But yeah, a lot of people don't realize 2021 is going to be very similar. Um, but yeah, cool. I did want to ask about what kind of books got you into the business mind state. What books
Mhm.
you really like? What podcasts you really like? So if you don't mind sharing about that.
Yeah, of course, man. So books, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant was really good,
Mm,
because it kind of, I like how it's broken down, right? So you have the employee, I think you have self-employed, investor, and business owner. I want to say the four quadrants. So I
okay.
think it does a good job of just talking about the transition from one quadrant to the next, what each quadrant means, what life is like within each quadrant. So I think it breaks down very specifically what
Okay.
that's like, which I thought was pretty good.
Who's that
Black,
by?
this by both by Robert Kiyosaki.
Oh, that is by him. Oh
Yeah.
shit. Okay.
Um, and then there's Black Fortunes, the stories. I think it's Black Fortune, the story of six African Americans who became millionaires after slavery. I read that at the top of this year. Changed my mind completely, man. Like I'm talking about people who were slaves and became millionaires. I'm talking about like right after
Right
slavery,
after.
right
Damn.
after. So whether through business, whether through real estate, whether through different entrepreneurial ventures,
What's the
in
name of
the
that again?
face of, it's called Black Fortunes.
Got you.
I read that in like 2 days, man.
Oh
I need to read
shit.
it again. Yeah, so that was really good, and it talks about Madam C.J. Walker,
Mm.
I think Annie Malone, and I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody has seen the Netflix docu series. That docu series is completely inaccurate.
Oh
It's
really?
Oh yeah, they did not there was not any beef with each other. Like the
Oh
book is
man.
like the research that the guy did in the book, it's legit, and that was not the case. Like
Yeah, yeah.
Madam C.J. Walker, like she had a lot of things, but she learned everything from Annie Malone. Obviously, she took part of what she did, but at the end of her life, she didn't have much. And
Yeah.
same with Annie Malone, but it's like that documentary, I did not. There's things you could take from it,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously in Hollywood, it's not going to be completely accurate, right?
Yeah, no,
So
they need screen stuff. They need stuff
yeah,
to
she
put
did
on.
not. She didn't move to Indianapolis to beef with her. or to set up shop across the street from her. It was none of that stuff, man.
That's
Like all
crazy.
the colorism and all, it's just I didn't like those aspects of the film, but I think my perspective is different because I read the book, and the
Okay.
book like shows what happened.
Most
But
books do though. Most books never match up with the movie, or most movies
right,
never match up with
right,
the book. So
right,
yeah, definitely. Everyone definitely check that out. Black Fortunes. Well, what else you
yeah.
got, bro? What else?
Um, Think and Grow Rich: A Black Choice by
Mm,
Dennis Kimbro, and
I
I would
heard it.
say any book by Dennis Kimbro, honestly. But yeah, Think and Grow Rich: A Black Choice. That is really good. It's just another story of African Americans who have achieved wealth in the across multiple generations, multiple decades, doing different things. So that one was really good. I have the audiobook version. I listen to it from time to time, but I'm sure the hard copy is good as well.
For sure.
Um,
I listen to a lot of
I-
Audible. Sometimes it's hard to sit and find the time to sit, so I can listen to books way easier and faster. Like 2 days, I
yeah,
can knock out a whole book, as opposed to if I
yeah,
sit, it's gonna take me like 2 months.
yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
yeah.
Um,
What about podcasts, man?
yeah, podcast, Black Wealth Renaissance. That's what got me started with this whole thing, man. And just really exposed me to what Black people are doing.
Yeah.
So Black Wealth Renaissance, the Oglesby and Scott Show, um, my podcast, of course, Black Real Estate Dialogue.
Mm.
Um,
Shout it out.
there's, there's a couple others that I like as well. The Tweet Talks podcast, that is really good. Um, Bigger Pockets podcast. Yeah, I got my little thing up here. One I haven't listened to in a while, but I like is Millionaires Unveiled. Like it talks
Okay.
about different people who have become millionaires. So it could be like, professionals who became millionaires over time. Just like a wide range of people. Um, yeah, so I would say those are some good podcasts that I
Okay.
recommend.
For
Yeah.
sure. Definitely, definitely. Any fucking docu series, since everyone's dropping docu series now? Any docu series you found really interesting, or even movies? Have you seen The Banker on Apple TV?
Yeah, the bank is really good, man. I like the
Really
banker.
good. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
glad you like it. Yeah, I really like that, man. That really got me. Like, I was already studying real estate and trying to get into it, but then once I seen that, I was like, oh fuck that! I'm about to spend like 10 hours a day
Yeah.
researching this shit. Like, yeah, I really like that. Everyone should definitely check out The Banker. I shouted that out in like our third episode of the year.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, any movies, docu series? What you got?
I like The Founder. The Founder
Okay,
is really good. The McDonald's movie. Um, Man, docu series. There's one about why is his name escaping me? I just said it the other day. He has passed away. Oh, Reginald F. Lewis. There's a
okay,
documentary about him. I think it's on like PBS, but you could probably find it on YouTube. This brother bought like 100 and something companies in the 80s, I believe, but he died from cancer. He was like a lawyer. I think
Jesus.
he was an investment banker, I want to say as well.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, like he completed like a historic transaction back then, but he's since passed away, unfortunately.
Hmm.
He I think he had cancer or something of that sort. And at this point, I think it's been 30 plus years since he's passed, but his story is great.
Okay.
So any documentary you can find about him is pretty good. There's a couple I've seen about Black Wall Street, but there's like a whole bunch on those. Um, let's see. Yeah, I can't think of any others, but those are some good ones to start off with.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, got to keep the listeners busy. And
Definitely,
I
man.
love to learn about new stuff. Like I've never heard of
Yeah.
the these books that you mentioned. Besides the Think and Grow Rich, I've definitely heard of that.
Hmm.
But I'm gonna definitely check it out. I love to learn, man. So, well, shit. Let's go ahead and move on to the guided conclusion section, where we wrap up our episode. The guided conclusion section is pretty much I ask you a question. It could be funny, serious, whatever, but you don't know it beforehand. It's not the traditional question. Today's question is kind of simple. For you, I'm asking, what is financial freedom to you? What does that mean? If you were to give a
Yeah.
definition.
Yeah. So for me, like financial freedom is just like the ability to have enough passive income coming in where I can do what I want. I don't have to
Mm,
show up where I don't want to show up. I don't have to do what I don't want to do. So that's what it means to me. I think financial freedom directly is time freedom.
okay.
If my investments in businesses cover what I need to live, I'm free, and
Okay.
it doesn't have to be $1 million,
No, yeah, yeah.
Um, so for me, that's financial freedom for me, man. Just knowing that I can do what I want to do when I want to do it. I can support my family, my kids, like what they want to do when I have kids in the future. Just having freedom, man. Just being able to do what I want.
Yeah.
And you can't do what you want if you don't have enough money to do that. If you don't have, you can't do what you want literally at any time of the day if you don't have enough investments or businesses to support your lifestyle.
True, true, true.
So that's what it means to me.
No, yeah. Do you think you can be financially free if you're not your own boss? Do you think you have to be your own boss?
Not necessarily. Like I think somebody could work a 9 to 5, right? But if they're building up their investments or side businesses that maybe other people are primarily running to the point where numerically it covers what they need to live, but they decide to still work, you're still free, you
Yeah.
know? Maybe you don't have time freedom per se because you're working a job, but if you decide to leave the job, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
If you could leave your job and you'd be fine because of other money you have coming in, that's freedom to me. Like you're going to the job because you want to.
Yeah, I was just about to say you have the freedom to work or to not. So that's
Right.
financial
Right.
freedom. It also a lot has to go into your debt to income ratio. Do you have a
Yeah.
lot of debt? Are you working because you need to pay the debt down? Or if you quit, are you still able to pay your small amount of debt? You know what I mean? Like I think that plays a huge part into financial freedom. And I also
Yep.
think wealth, because a lot of people think that a lot of people confuse wealth and like how much they make a month, like those are two different spectrums, really.
Mm-hmm.
I think in financial freedom, you have wealth, you have that, structure. And the monthly income are kind of just like your stepping stones to building
Mm-hmm.
the house. So I think that's super important to distinguish. But great answer, bro. Great answer, for real, for real.
Appreciate that, man.
Facts, facts. Well, I appreciate you coming up here, man. Coming up here to the Zoom. You feel me? I wish we could do this shit in person, bro.
I
But
know.
yeah. I want you to shout out your socials, where people can find you, emails, ask question, everything. Shout you out, man.
Yeah. So appreciate you coming on, man. Thankful for the opportunity. But yeah, as far as reaching out to me, you can find me on Instagram at Black Real Estate Dialogue. You can find me on Twitter at Bread Podcast, at BRED Podcast. I have multiple courses like on podcasting, investing out of state. So if you're interested in that, feel free to click the link in my bio. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to me on either of those platforms, and hopefully I can help you out.
Yeah, facts. Well, shit. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate your time, and dude, today's a great day for you, man. You're about to go see your house, dude.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Yeah, I think today I'll drive by. Like I have a
Yeah.
couple investors I know, a couple people I know who invest here. So I offered to do drive-bys for them, just like check on the property, take pictures and stuff. So while I'm doing that, I think I'll drive by the property. But tomorrow, Monday, I'll get to like go in and see
Oh,
everything. But
okay,
today
okay.
I'm like walk
You
around the
just,
perimeter.
yeah.
You
You
know what I'm
could do
saying?
that. You could do that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, I'm
Dude,
looking forward to it, man.
have you I've been hearing great things about indie investing in indie. Have you thought about it?
I haven't, but one of my recent guests, he's actually lives in LA. He invests in Indianapolis. He flips over there. It's a good market, man. There's a lot of markets here in the Midwest that are pretty good, man. But
Got
yeah,
it.
I've heard good things about Indianapolis and kind of what they have come in, but affordable properties there from what I've heard.
So what's the guy's name? I might have to hit him up. I've been looking to invest out
His
there.
Buy Back the Block LA.
Oh,
That's
I
his,
heard that one actually. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
him.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah, that's dope.
Uh-huh.
I actually followed him. And he does like webinars, like the seminars for
Yep.
the Section 8, right?
Yep. Every month
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
has
I signed
that
up for
going on.
one. That's all right,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Danny's a good guy. I met him in person like in March. He's a good dude.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I saw. I
Yeah,
saw. I think I even I DM'd them to come up on this podcast. That's hilarious.
nice.
And shit, man. Yeah, like I said, I gotta come to LA and we'll link up, man. I definitely.
Definitely, man.
I plan to come to LA like around January, around my birthday or something. I usually go and do like music events and shit, but everything's been shut down, so it's been hard.
Yeah,
But
definitely. Yeah, if you down, man, give me a holler when you're down in LA. We'll definitely link up.
yes, sir, man. All right, man. I appreciate you coming up here, and you have a blessed Sunday, dude.
Thank you, man. Same to you.
Yes, sir. Peace.